So before we start, I'd like to say that if you enjoy this video and want to see more, then why not consider subscribing? That way you can be notified whenever I upload, when I upload. Now with that out of the way, let's get on with the video. So with Jujutsu Kaisen finally coming to an end, I wanted to make a video covering something related to it. And as you've seen in the thumbnail, you probably know what that's about. I've found 5 of the best fan-made curse techniques in the Jujutsu Kaisen community and I've put them into a tier list. The first technique is by someone you might know if you've watched my Helldivers video. We've got my friend Killigoof coming with the Shadow Titan technique. This technique allows the user to summon some or all of a large clone of themselves made of cursed energy. Some of the ways I can see this being used is by summoning individual limbs of the Titan to attack from a distance, or by maybe summoning the whole Titan as a crowd control attack, or by using parts of its platforms to increase vertical mobility. The domain he didn't really tell me the name of, but the visual appearance of it is a replica of the surrounding area made of cursed energy, with a clone of each opponent placed in the centre. After an unspecified amount of time, the clone will begin to relentlessly attack the individual that it looks like. This clone is stronger, faster, and in general superior in every way to its opponent. On top of this, the sure hit effect of its domain is that the curse technique weakening effect. This causes opponent's curse technique to not work correctly and be weaker. This causes confusion during the fight. In my opinion, I think this curse technique is quite versatile, and I would rate it an A, as it both has combat and mobility uses. So the next on our list is by user Goats Are Lovely on Reddit. This technique is called the Echo Assault technique, and when used, allows the user to leave a seal on anything they touch. They can have up to 10 seals placed at a time, and when activated, transfer the force of one of their physical attacks onto the place of the seal for a guaranteed hit. Unfortunately, this one doesn't have a domain, but I think despite that, it would be deadly in combat. Although it doesn't have much use outside of combat, so I would have to rate it a B. Next one's one of my favourites. This is a colour-based technique by user iPlexed on Reddit. This one allows the user to draw colours from the surrounding area and place them into a palette for later use. Each colour has a respective ability. These include red, which manifests large blasts of cursed energy, orange, which manifests as a customizable Shikigami, which can have different abilities similar to Megumi's 10 Shadows, yellow, which manifests as a sticky rubber substance, which greatly heats up the surface it's placed on, green, which creates illusions that, depending on how much of the green is used, can last for days at a time, blue, which creates a durable set of metal-like armour, although the durability is dependent on the amount of blue used, and finally purple, which manifests as unowned cursed energy, allowing other sorcerers and cursed spirits to replenish their cursed energy with it. The domain of this technique is called Painted Palace, which places the user and their opponents in a nondescript palace with rainbow cursed energy overflowing everywhere, which seems to almost flashbang the opponents with the jumble of colours. It's an amazing technique, and even without mentioning the reversal and maximum techniques of it, which are actually really sick, I just don't have the time to talk about them. Now this technique is incredibly versatile and I would rate it an S. Now for our fourth technique, we have one from user Troopertree7 on Reddit, with the technique, hope I'm saying this right, Kyoyu Totem Lizards.
Editing and post beanie here. There might be fucked up here, so I'm just going to fill in. This technique allows you
To summon 2 individual lizard Shikigami, which are incredibly fast and agile, as well as the user being able to see through their eyes. Apparently, when the lizards jump onto an opponent's hands, they can become a set of wooden shackles which immobilize the user from using their hands completely. Another use of this is by dragging away all the cursed energy from a lizard and turning them back into wood. When doing this, the user can still see through their eyes, but makes the lizards almost undetectable, allowing them to become a sort of security camera. This curse technique is really good, although it does lack combat ability. So unfortunately I'm going to have to rate it a B because of that, purely because it's focused on support over individual combat, meaning it's kind of one-sided in its use. Now the last technique of our list is actually mine. My curse technique is called Zombie Technique, which at first comes with a heavenly restriction, which will make sense in a bit. The heavenly restriction causes me to have little to no stamina at all, but in return allows me to have an almost infinite well of cursed energy. The technique itself allows me to zombify parts of my body. Upon zombification, they don't take up stamina when used, and can be morphed to fit different purposes. For example, zombifying my legs to move at incredible speed, although it does speed up the rotting of them. Zombifying my arm, for an example, to create a large blade to fight with, or maybe using a part of my body zombified to create a shield. On top of this, I can also sacrifice limbs or parts of my body to create spores, which when inhaled, give me control over the opponent for an amount of time respected to the amount of spores they've inhaled. The only real downside of it is when a limb is morphed, it cannot be reversed, and to help with this, due to my huge amount of cursed energy, I can replenish the limbs almost instantly using reverse curse technique. The reversal of this technique allows me to decay anything I touch, while although powerful it does take up a lot of cursed energy, so it's rarely used. My domain is called Blood Forest. The appearance of this domain is an infinite forest made of rotting organs. For example, the bark of a tree is made of bones, the leaves are made of like intestines, etc. Within the domain, there's an infinite amount of zombies spread all across it. The sure hit of it is when you are hit by any of the zombies whatsoever, any physical contact, within 5 minutes you become one and die. And I think that about wraps it up. If you enjoyed and want to see more, don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.